Hey YouTubers, just a quick video. I've been on a video streak this week, but I saw some comment. Oops, sorry. I saw some comment on a page that I'm on Facebook, and someone wrote about how they're very hesitant on meeting new people because of them identifying as transgender or not as the sex they were born as. And I have an actual very interesting story that was actually just happened this past semester. I met a friend of mine, which I feel is a good friend at this point, and I met him through some friends at my college, and he didn't know that I was born as female. He didn't know at all, because the friends that he met all use male pronouns. We really don't talk about any like the past or whatever, so he wouldn't really know otherwise. One day we were talking about rights and different laws that are going through, and I brought up the 6599 anti-discrimination bill that was passed in Connecticut this past year, and we started going on a discussion about how he felt about people who identified like this. And remember that he does not know that I am one of those people, that I was born a female and identify as male, and that the cis male that he thinks I am I was actually born a female. So I go on, and he's very polite. No, he's not being offensive or anything, and he's really trying to listen to understand my point of view. And we keep going, and he's like, well, I'm not really sure. My background in religion, he's Hindu or Indian, I'm not sure, but his religion doesn't like self-mutilation. And I brought up the concept that, well, what do you feel about tattoos? Because I have several tattoos, and we have several friends that were around us that had tattoos. And he was like, well, I don't feel it's the same exact thing, but you do bring up a really good point, that when you get a tattoo, you are scarring yourself. Your skin is being scarred. Yes, you're putting ink, but you are actually scarring your skin. And it's the same, I feel it's the same exact thing. And he said, you do bring up a good point, but I've never actually had to deal with a situation, and he rephrased himself. He's like, not with a situation, but have ever experienced being around or being friends with or meeting a trans person or somebody who identified as the opposite sex. And through this, I had this grin on my face because he's a very great guy, very open to everything. He's really laid back, and I was thinking in the back of my mind, I'm like, should I tell him? Should I not tell him? We've known each other, at that point, we knew each other about a month or so. And we really don't hang out outside of school. And I'm like, should I tell him? Should I not? Like, he kept going on, like, I'm not sure. I never interacted with somebody that identified as the opposite sex. And I guess it would just be the experience that I have to meet somebody. So I went along, I was agreeing with him. I'm like, okay. And then after he finished what he was saying, I was like, what if I could tell you that you have met a trans person or someone who identified as the opposite sex? And he's like, but I haven't. I've never met anybody that I know of, and I haven't gone through that situation. And I referred to it again. I was like, what if I could guarantee you that you've met somebody that was born the opposite sex you see them as now? And he's like, what are you talking about? So I pulled out my ID, and I haven't gotten my gender marker changed yet, and I pulled out my ID, and I was like, well, I used to be female. And it really caught him off guard. Like, it was a very nervous moment, but it was a very happy moment, because this guy could really, I could really benefit in his experience and his knowledge, because we've been cool. We've never had a problem. We're buddy buddies and everything. We're like almost like cool brothers. And he was dumbfounded. He didn't know what to say, and he was like, "What are you talking about?" And he kept looking back at my license, and he was like, "You're kidding me. Did you get surgery yet?" I'm like, "No, I haven't any surgery. I've been on T for a little bit, but I haven't had any surgeries yet." And he's like, "Wow." And you could see his whole persona around him just changed. Like he had no words, and it was positive. It was such a positive moment. Like he had no negative feedback. You could just see that he was so amazed in some ways, but also that what I was talking about, he can completely agree with now, and that he understands that people that identify as opposite sex, as transgender, as boys, BOI, as nonconformists, that I am somebody that is part of that type of person, that I identify as the opposite sex that I was born as. And at first he said that he could not tell me how he would feel because he's never experienced it. And then after the fact I told him, he's like, "Wow, you really have opened my eyes up." And it's not like we fell out of touch. Like after that conversation, we still hung out, we still were cool people, we still acted the same way, and he wanted to know more. He was very interested. He asked questions, and he's a great guy. And from the comment that someone put up on Facebook beforehand saying that they're very hesitant about meeting new people because when they come out to them, they don't want to have to deal with transphobia or any type of phobia toward how they identify, their orientation. And I've had that problem. I've had that problem in the past when I was younger, where I was I was a big loner, I would say. I had a lot of acquaintances, and I'd say hi to a bunch of people, but I kept my distance because of how I identified. And I found out from over the years, for the most part, if I know that I'm gonna see you often, and most likely I'm gonna become friends with you, out of like the workplace or whatever, I will tell you. And it is nerve-wracking. I'm not saying that's the way to go, but to like just be balls to the walls, completely, excuse my language, completely just blunt about it. Some people are very nervous, and some situations I wouldn't approach as well with certain people. But if you feel comfortable enough, the best times that I feel for me to come out saying that I was born female is in groups that several people in that group already know and already are acceptive and respectful about it. Because you have people that will back you up. You have people that will be there to help you through if they have any concerns or negativity from that one person or people that you're coming out to. But it definitely was an interesting comment that this gentleman put up, and I just want to put a video out there. But thanks, YouTubers, for listening, and thank you for Facebook members to be listening. And if you have any questions, concerns, comments, things you want me to talk about, or just hear me ramble, just hit me up, comment me, and have a great night. Bye.